If you have a nonfiction book, I want to show you in this video exactly how you could turn one piece of book into hundreds of pieces of social media content. Now, what's really cool is this is going to show you how to do this without the use of AI, but there's also a way to use AI that can increase the amount of content that you could create exponentially. Now, the one thing that everyone needs to understand here is I wrote this book, Big Idea to Bestseller. It came out December of 2022. And I have used this book to be the foundational piece of all of my content for the last several years. And so what I really want to show you how to do is to take a book, because a book is your best content. A book is your ideas, your framework, your methodology, your story. It's your best content packaged in 150 to 250 pages of great material. And so if we already know that this book is our best material, then why wouldn't we use this over and over and over again? So let's imagine you already have a book, whether it's published or it's in the process of being published. Now, this is something that we show authors how to do when they work with us. We actually show them how to create this content while they're preparing for their launch. That way they can leverage the work they've already done to save them a ton of time. So the first thing we're going to do, and I'm just going to actually show you this of how I would use my book to create content throughout this entire video. Now, the first thing that I would do is you could create a content piece. If you have the front cover of it and your book's published, you can just be like, hey, have you checked out my brand new book, Big Idea to Bestseller? I'd love to give you a free copy, comment free, and I'll send it to you. So you can just do it right off the bat, right off the rip, hold it up. You can take an image, you can do some pictures, you can kind of wave it in the round, you can use it as a hook. But that's a really great way to get this started. The next thing that you can do is on the back cover, you will have your author bio. You will have typically some things about the book. You might have a testimonial, and you could literally create pieces of content on this. So let me show you the back cover of how I could potentially create content. I have a testimonial from a mentor of mine, Chris Harder, really amazing entrepreneur. And he gives me a testimony. You can't underestimate the power that a book adds to your brand. And Jake is the best in the business at helping you get it written and published easily. So that's amazing. What I could do though is I could turn that into a carousel graphic. I could turn this into a video reel where I kind of say, hey, here's what people are saying about this book. One of my mentors said this, and this is amazing, right? I'm so grateful for that. That's one simple way that you could take that to make it a piece of content. Let's talk about the next piece. So on the back of my book, I have kind of some things here where it's asked 3 questions. Have you ever wanted to write a book but didn't know where to begin? Have you ever started writing a book only to be held back by limiting beliefs? And have you ever wanted to write a book but didn't think you had the time? Boom. You could say 3 questions to answer before writing your first book. Ask those 3 questions and that's a reel. The second section on my back covers, I talk about in Big Idea to Bestseller, you will learn, and there's all these different bullet points. So I could easily make a reel, especially if the book's not out yet. I could say, I have an upcoming book. I have an upcoming book. It's called Big Idea to Bestseller, and here are 3 things you're going to learn. Here are 5 things you're going to learn in my upcoming book. If it's your first book, you could say, my debut book launches in XYZ month. Let me tell you 3 things you're going to learn. Or you could say, I've been waiting my whole life to launch a book. There are 5 things that I've always wanted to share in my upcoming book XYZ. Here they are. You can even start to break it down here, right? So if I say, for example, one of the bullets is why writing a book is the number one thing you can do for your business. I may then make a reel and say, well, let me explain. Here are 3 things of why writing a book is the number one thing you can do for your business. You can make a carousel on the back end of this. You can go through every bullet point that you use, again, because you've thought about this. You've worked with a publisher. You've worked with a marketing strategist on these things. And you're able to just take those and turn them into social media content. All right, so that's just with the front and just with the back cover. But where it gets really interesting is when you can go through chapter by chapter, page by page. Now, I'm going to give you 2 strategies. Because if you're listening to this, you might be someone who wants to go chronologically and just go page by page. But other people, you may go through this and you might want to just go with the random approach. So I think the random approach is a ton of fun. It's a little less tactical, but it's a lot of fun. And here's how this goes. When you look at your book, you can do a live reel. So you could do an example like this. If you're on live, you can engage with people. Hey, pick any page number that you want. They pick 126. You go to that page in your book and boom, you look at what is on page 126. For me, page 126 is talking about how to price your book on Amazon, how to do the paperback pricing. So I could just go here and I could then just create a reel based on this. This is really fun because you never know what you're going to get. You could do it live, or you can just go, if you don't want to go in order, is just pick a random page. Let's say I go to this page. Oh, this is talking about selective self-editing. It starts a new chapter. This is telling me about a story about when I was in 7th grade. I could use that. And you can just go ahead and you can just replicate this. You see, when you have a book, you're going to have stories as well as actionable info. The stories are great because they teach a lesson. The stories are great because they relate to somebody. The tactical stuff is great because it teaches. To be a great personal brand, to be a great author on social media, you want to combine the expertise you have with the experience you have. And so this makes it really, really easy. Here's the other way that you can go about doing this if you want to be more methodical or if you want to plan this out in advance, is you go section by section of the book. So, for example, let's say I started this and I go to my introduction. So I'm going to go to my introduction. This is page 1. And what you do is you just kind of look at it. And right off the bat, I see that I'm telling a story. I see shortly after that, I say something where writing a book is more than just writing a book. It is an opportunity to create someone's favorite book. How would it feel to know that your book is the book that inspired someone to change for the better? First of all, I could just recreate that. But then I say it's bigger than a book. A book is your vehicle to feeding your family. A book is your vehicle to your dream home. A book is your vehicle to more confidence. A book is your vehicle to getting on stage in front of 1,000 people, and so on and so forth. And I do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. I could say 8 things your book will open the doors to. And then I could go and list those 8 things. I'm only on page 2 and we've already talked about a bunch of things. You can also scroll down and you could just look. And then anytime you have bullet points, anytime you have mini subsections, anytime you're telling a story, anytime you're teaching something, beautiful. That's where you create the content. You create carousels, static images, graphics, reels, long form videos, podcast episodes. Okay, here's a fun fact. I have a bonus chapter in this book called How to Turn Your Book into 100 Plus Pieces of Content. What is this podcast? What is this YouTube video? What is everything that I'm doing right here, right now, wherever you're watching this? It's from the book. Now, I've learned a lot since this, and this is where it gets really fun, is when you write a book, oftentimes a lot of the material is going to be relevant and stay the same. Your stories, your experiences, those have all happened. But there's also going to be things that you learn, you adapt, you evolve, you grow on. Share those things. What I wrote here on about how to turn your book into 100 plus pieces of content is fantastic and still really relevant. But it's also relevant to share that there are new things that have happened in the few years since this book came out. One of them, for example, at the time of this recording, is leveraging AI at a much more in-depth level. And so one of the really cool things that you can do now too is you can take your book, you take the PDF, you take the Google Doc version, you take the Microsoft Word version, you upload into your LLM of choice, Claude, ChatGPT, whatever it is, and you give them a prompt based on the type of content that you want to create. And so you can actually go in, upload the manuscript and say, hey, based on this, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to create 10 posts per chapter. In each post, I want it to be a long form video. I want you to create an email campaign. I want you to create 3 different reel ideas. I want you to create 3 different carousel ideas and whatever else you want it to do. And what it will do is it will create all of that based on you uploading your manuscript. From there, what's really amazing is then you can dig deeper into it. And I'll probably do a video on actually showing you an AI prompt and kind of walking you through how you can do this, leveraging the power of AI. But today was really just to show you that writing a book is not only going to benefit you in so many ways, but writing a book gives all of your best content a place to live. If you have an assistant, if you have someone overseas, if you have a social media coordinator, social media manager, you can watch this video, you can take your book, and you can create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of social content. If you post once a day, that's 365 pieces of content from here. If you post twice a week, that's 104 pieces of content that you can easily get from your book. Not to mention all the other ideas that will naturally come once you start reciting ideas from this book. So to recap, you can go through your book. You can look at the front cover. You can go to the back cover. You can go chapter by chapter. Or you can just scroll to a random page. Oh, page 142. How to communicate with your launch team. I can just talk about what this is. And the coolest thing about all this is there's nobody better with your content than you. So if you're going through this, you'll easily know exactly what to talk about. You can read the page so that you have clarity of like, where are you at? And then you just make a minute video of you talking about this. This is a really, really easy way to have a lot of material to pull from, but not just random material. This is material that's already been vetted. It's already material that's been edited. It's already been material that's been thought through. And it's often some of your best stuff. So why recreate the wheel? Use your book, create hundreds of pieces of social content, repurpose that in different formats, and then reuse that content every 60 to 90 days, depending on the volume of posting that you have. And all of a sudden, now you have a social media engine that keeps repeating over and over and over again. And then you could just add timely content or other relevant content on top of your base, which is coming from your book. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this, I want to give you an actual copy of this book. You'll have the bonus chapter in there along with a bunch of other resources. And this book is a step-by-step guide on how to write, publish, and launch a nonfiction book so that you can grow your business and make an impact. So if you want a free copy of this book, I'll send it to you. Just input your information down below. You can go to bigideatobestseller.com/free-book and put your information, and then we'll go ahead and send you a copy. Now, if you know you're writing a book or you want help strategizing with your book, then go to bigideatobestseller.com/call, book a demo with our team, and we'll walk you through either how to write your book so that it's optimized for success, or we'll show you how to leverage your book and turn it into 100 of pieces of content. So there you have it. This is the exact path to building hundreds of pieces of content from your book so you could save yourself time, get more views, build your audience, and ultimately make more money. I'll see you next time.